Man, after watching so many anime and reading so many manga, there just isn't as much excitement anymore. Wait, what's this? Bluelock? A football game full of egoists. I'ma read this. Part 2 of the anime just started as of right now, and there's 13 episodes as I'm recording this. But for the manga, it has over 200 chapters and has some of the best artwork I have ever seen in manga. So I will recommend the manga, but just for a little rundown of Bluelock itself, the main character, Isagi Yoichi, is a striker, and it starts off with him passing the game-winning shot to a teammate and losing the match to go to nationals. Then he gets an invitation to a football training camp. But basically, they join the same team, and after they talk to the leader, whose name is Ito, we basically get introduced to their team, which is Ichido, Bakudo, Bachira the Weirdo, Freaky Eye Man, and the kid from Clash Me the Elite, and the Princess of Bluelock. What a weird cast. But there's also everyone else. After all of that, Ito tells them they're ranked, and my boy Isagi was ranked 299, bro. He did not deserve that, alright? He's pretty good at that time. But basically, they had to play tag with the soccer ball, and well, that shit was killer football. Bachira hit the Mont kid with a fucking kick, breaking his nose. Then Isagi realizes he wants to be a monster for some reason and decides to kick the ball at the best player in the room and destroyed Kira, bro. I'm surprised he didn't get his name written in the death note. And with that, Isagi was reborn and Kira was out. So basically after that, we got the main cast in the first selection, and well, they had to fight a lot of teams, and they had a lot of great moments with some of the best characters, like the king of the field Baro, the prodigy Nagi, the hentai main character Nico, the chameleon Rio, and well, the first selection was pretty cool, and I would like to talk about it more, but right now, if you haven't watched the anime or read the manga, I would click off this video, because there will be spoilers right now. Before we get to the second selection, I just want to say, please like and subscribe. The second selection starts, and it was Isagi, Bachira, and Nagi, and they teamed up, which by the way, I fucking loved this moment. It was so hyped, and it still is. But they go against ranks number 1, 2, and 3, and I don't even know why they went for it, because they weren't even close to top 3. But hey, I guess they wanted to become the best. So, they fought them, and of course, they got completely shit on, bro. But we did learn the new power system of chemical reactions, and I mean, they got some cool goals with Nagi, but at the end, Team Isagi lost Bachira, and that changed Isagi a lot. A lot of awesome moments happen, like when Nagi basically telling Isagi that he's a little bitch without Bachira, and he's the man up. And so, Isagi did. The first match was with Nagi and Isagi versus Imamura, who was on his team in the first selection, and the king of goats, Baro. This match was so epic but very sad at the same time, as Imamura lost and Team Isagi gained Baro. But for a second, I just have to say, I would have loved to see Imamura again in the story, just because he was just like Isagi, but little did we all know, Isagi was a genius of adaptability and also had plot armor because he's the main character. And well, Team Isagi moved on to their second match. This was my second favorite match of all of the series, and that match was Team Isagi versus Ichido, the Princess, and Rio. It's funny that they met in the bath just because it was just so out of nowhere. I wasn't even expecting it. But once the match started, as Isagi was trying to spark a chemical reaction with Baro and Nagi, but it was just not happening, and Isagi decided that he was just going to devour Baro instead, which is just such a weird way to phrase it. I don't even know why they chose that. But with this amazing manga panel, Isagi and Nagi scored goals without Baro and made the king of the field completely useless. But at the very end, Baro was finally accepting that he was just going to be a side character. But you know the goat just couldn't live like that. So Baro finally awakened and completely devoured Isagi and scored the game-winning shot. And finally becoming the awakened king of the field. At the very end, they chose Chidori. Even though I think Kunigami would have been the best, but hey, Chidori was also a pretty good pick. And the development with Rio and Nagi was also pretty cool. as Team Isagi lives on and Kunidami and Ryo leave defeated, waiting for another team to fight them. Finally, Isagi has a team of 4, and so they decide they want to face the big 3 of Bluelock again to gain back Bachira. So they confront Itoshi Rin and they have a final match. Isagi, the genius of adaptability, Nagi, the prodigy, Baro, the king, and well, Chidori, the princess. They fight the genius of football, Itoshi Rin, the glamorous long-haired guy, the muscle bullet bald man, and the crazy dope Bachira. Just to make it short, they got shit on. I'm joking. But they did lose, sadly. It was a very entertaining match, but sadly, instead of Isagi gaining back Bachira, Bachira gained Isagi. Pretty good twist, huh? And well, as Isagi moves on, former Team Isagi went back to find another member to pass the second selection. The last part of the second selection was a 5-on-5 match against some of the best players around the world. And well, let's just say this match was short but sweet. And well, Itoshi Rin got a score, but that was all she wrote because they got completely destroyed the rest of the match. But that was expected by Ito, and well, they had no chance of winning, I'm just gonna be honest. But something unexpected happened, and well, Team Bluelock had to face the National Japan U20 Football League. And let's just say, this match was awesome. While there were some characters that returned, like Team Isagi, Big Eye Freaked Man, Bakudo, and the hentai hero Nico. They all trained for a little bit, but Jesus Christ, when this match started, it was already fire. Ren's brother Itoshi Sai was on Team Japan, and those two had an amazing feud in that match. Same with Haikyuu and Isagi, but basically everyone was just pulling out heat. Nito had his awesome moment. Haikyuu was amazing at defense and was blocking everyone's passes like, come on, give me your fade. And while Bluelock was keeping up for a while until Itoshi Sai came up and said, nah, this team trash, I'ma just have to do this, and scored a beautiful shot. But basically, Team Bluelock scored, and Team U20 scored, and well, let's just skip all that stuff and go to the best 5 parts of the game. The first best part was the explosion freak Shido, and bro, this guy was simping for Itoshi Sai the whole game, and this man just packed up everyone in the second half, and just made an awesome goal with him talking about hitting his football right in the womb or some weird shit like that. And while Coach Ito said, Ryo, get your bitch ass out on the field and stop Shido in his tracks, and so Ryo did just that, copying Aikyuu's awesome snake move. But after Ito realized he needed the risk to win, he sent out my boy, the king of the field, Baro. This motherfucker changed and said, fuck everyone else, I'm gonna just devour Isagi and score for myself. And so he did just that, stealing the ball from his own teammate and scoring a goal. But this man, Itoshi Rin, just fucking awakens at the end of the game. And I'm about to say this, but this man ended everyone's whole career and just started looking like a psychopath and shit on all of U20. He says, I'm gonna devour Isagi, and sits his tongue out and goes crazy. The only 2 people who could keep up with him was Isagi and his brother Itoshi Sai. And so Sai blocks Rin from scoring the goal. But the GOAT Isagi was already aware of this, and so my man forced luck to be on his side, and he scored the last shot of the game and took the spotlight for himself. Man all up in his head, saying he's gonna lead Japan to its World Cup win. So after all of this, Bluelock took a little break and had some nice chapters of some fun, but for some reason, Kunidami wasn't able to be contacted. I wonder why. But basically, my boy Ito got some new investors, and the Japan U20 team was now in his control to pick, and so everyone went to the 3rd selection, including the former Japan U20 team. And while the best strikers in the world show up and say, choose one of us to be your mentor. And so everyone parts ways trying to find their mentor, and Isagi chooses his idol, Noel Noah. And while there's someone else who chooses Noel, the man who survived the wild card, the fallen hero, Kunidami. And well, let's just say, everyone is shocked by that. But that's where I'm going to end this Bluelock review. And let's start talking about how Bluelock changed my life, and why it's such a good manga. Now, I've always been a pretty lazy kid, and I really haven't done anything with my life but complain. But lately, I started to improve a lot. Now this isn't just because bluelocked, and I think bluelock is a main motivator, as I went from not being able to do 10 push-ups in a row to doing 500 in the same day, while binging all of the bluelocked manga. And to be honest, it's not anything to do with soccer, even though I kinda want to join a soccer club again. But it's mainly me wanting to develop the ego that everyone has in that show. Because I mean, it would be so cool to have the confidence of Baro, the genius of Isagi, and the mind of Nagi. It would all be just so cool if I can train and make myself as cool as them. Now, I still have a lot of time and a ways to go, but I feel like if I train as much as these guys, then I should be the best in the world.